Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, today we are strapping in, seriously, for a look at the 2026 career forecast for Aries. If you got that, the classic Aries fire, that impatience, the need to be first, wanting to lead well, the sources we looked at, they pretty much agree on one thing. 2026 isn't really a year for just kind of cruising. It's more like a forced evolution almost. Anyone feeling stuck or restless, get ready for a major, mandatory shift in structure.
That's exactly the tension we kept seeing. The core theme isn't just drive, which, let's be honest, Aries has in spades. It's really about disciplined action. Aries has this incredible raw energy, right? But the cosmos this year is saying, okay, channel that. Channel it into something structured, something powerful, and crucially, something built to last.
Right. So our job today is to figure out how that raw power gets shaped. We're looking at three huge planetary influences, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. How do you become the master and commander of your professional life? We need the recipe, basically, that turns restlessness into real long-term authority. Let's start with the big one, the heavy hitter, Saturn.
Yeah, Saturn, planet of responsibility, structure, hard-won lessons. And its influence is huge, especially in the first part of your career journey in 2026. What's really interesting is the timing, the split schedule. Saturn actually starts the year in Pisces. That's your 12th house.
The 12th house.
Yes.
Okay. That's usually about closure, reflection, stuff happening behind the curtain, right? So the start of the year is a mandatory slowdown. That sounds like the opposite of Aries. How does that fiery energy survive months of prep work without, just imploding?
Well, that is the challenge, isn't it? And the sources tackle it directly. It's not about just sitting around doing nothing. It's actually about optimizing, getting efficient. That time with Saturn in the 12th house as the prep phase usually just leaps over. You're basically running diagnostics on yourself, professionally speaking, tying up old loose ends, maybe ditching projects that suck time but don't deliver, learning the unspoken rules of your industry. It's like clearing out the junk before the big race starts.
So it's quality over quantity for ambition, kind of counterintuitive for Aries, maybe. But then Saturn moves into Aries, your first house self-identity. That's when things really kick off.
That's the seismic shift. That's the go time moment. All that internal work suddenly becomes external presence, external authority. And this combo, Aries drive meeting Saturn, the ultimate taskmaster. The sources describe it almost like a master strategist teaming up with a five-star general. The authority you project won't just be confidence, it'll be earned by the smart groundwork you laid earlier.
Okay, but this sounds like hard work. Saturn doesn't just hand things out, does it?
No, absolutely not. It demands full, total responsibility for your path. You'll likely feel immense pressure, yeah. But the growth is right there with it. And this energy specifically, it fuels long-term commitments.
Yeah.
We're talking things like starting that demanding business that needs real time to mature, maybe 2 years or so, or going for those promotions that come with significant new responsibilities, management stuff, admin.
Right, which reminds me of that race car analogy that popped up in the source material.
Yeah.
Your ambition's the engine, always powerful, but Saturn is like the expert pit crew stepping in.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. The pit crew teaches you how to manage fuel, how to pace yourself, how to take the corners just right, and crucially, how to build an engine that can actually last the entire race, not just that spectacular first lap everyone expects from Aries. The rewards Saturn promises aren't quick wins. They're solid, like really solid and truly long-lasting. You have to embrace the grind because you are literally building the foundation for your professional reputation for the next, decade.
Wow, okay, that definitely sets a serious long-term tone.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears a bit, from deep structure to deep transformation. Pluto, planet of power transformation. It's hitting the 11th house. That's groups, networks, future goals. And the sources were super clear on this. Your network is your net worth this year.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is that the kind of revolution happening with your connections, Pluto isn't interested in, superficial chats over coffee, not schmoozing. This is about finding your real professional tribe. Aries is being pushed, maybe even forced, to cut looser ties and really seek out powerful, influential, innovative people. People working together on something big, something future-focused.
Okay, but Aries is maybe the most independent sign, right?
Yeah.
Always wanting to go it alone, be the pioneer.
Yeah.
So demanding collaboration. This sounds like another hurdle.
Yeah.
How does the pioneer suddenly need a team?
Well, by realizing that true pioneering in 2026 needs resources, it needs leverage that one person just can't generate solo anymore. You're looking for alliances, people who think big, like you, who can amplify your vision. Think less random networking event, more like joining a high-level industry group, or maybe leading a community project that actually changes things in your field.
So the emphasis is on innovation, but within a group context. leveraging collective power for goals that are just too big for one person.
Precisely. You might find yourself leading a pretty significant team, maybe on a professional board, or even running an online community that carries real weight. The guidance is really direct.
Hmm.
Collaboration with equally ambitious, forward-thinking folks is basically non-negotiable for success this year. The transformation Pluto brings is realizing your biggest power might actually come from who you stand with, not just what you do alone.
Okay, wow. So we've got intense discipline from Saturn and then powerful mandatory teamwork from Pluto. Honestly, that sounds exhausting. We need some relief here. Listeners need to know there's a payoff beyond just more responsibility. Where's the joy? Let's bring in Jupiter, planet of expansion, luck. It's in the 5th house.
Creativity, self-expression.
Yes, and this is the welcome relief, that buoyant energy to balance out all the heavy structure. Jupiter is basically reminding you that this career you're building, it absolutely should be a source of joy, of passion. If the work is going to be this demanding, the sources emphasize, it also has to feel deeply connected to who you are, to your unique spark. Okay, I can see how that works for entrepreneurs. If you did the Saturn homework, planned meticulously, then Jupiter in the 5th is perfect for marketing, branding, getting your unique message out there with real style.
Absolutely. And that energy isn't just for entrepreneurs. If you're on a more traditional path, this is a strong push to inject your personality, your creative ideas into your work, your projects. Jupiter encourages boldness for sure. And this is key, it's strategic boldness. It's not just being reckless for the sake of it.
The calculated risk. Okay, Aries loves risk, naturally, but often without the calculated bit. So how does Jupiter make sure the passion is used strategically, not just spontaneously combusting?
Because that Saturn foundation is already there, remember. The sources suggest this is where it all comes together, the synthesis point. Taking a bold, creative leap like launching an unusual product, or maybe pushing for a really different creative role, it could pay off massively. But only because the discipline from Saturn taught you how to manage things, how to build that durable engine. Now you're allowed to hit the gas, but you know the car won't fall apart. The risk is calculated because you did the structural homework first. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's try and pull these huge forces together. 2026 is asking Aries to do this incredible balancing act. You need to use your natural drive, but integrate serious discipline, patience, then seek out powerful collaboration through really selective networks, and wrap it all up with a bold, creative spark. It's like designing your future from the inside out.
That's really the bottom line from all the data we looked at. You're moving beyond just chasing the next success. You're combining that Aries fire with a new, totally necessary level of strategic thinking, of maturity. The work, yeah, it'll be hard, no doubt. But it's meant to feel deeply purposeful. And the results the sources promise are tangible. They're lasting.
You're building a legacy, essentially, not just climbing some corporate ladder.
That's the difference, exactly. The sources really nail this by talking about the forging process. Your name, your reputation, your authority, it's all being shaped, being forged in the fire of your own ambition this year. You're literally creating the foundations of an empire, in a sense.
Okay, so the quick actionable summary for you listening for 2026. 1, embrace those long-term commitments, even if they feel slow at first. 2, be super strategic with networking, find your real power tribe. And 3, use that Jupiter energy. Let your unique creative self shine through at work.
And maybe just a final thought to chew on as you step into this year of disciplined building. The sources promise these tangible, lasting achievements, this empire. But when you're in the thick of it, putting in the structure, the discipline, where does the real satisfaction actually come from? Is the fulfillment only going to be in the finished thing, the completed structure? Is the deepest joy maybe found in the hard, strategic, purposeful act of building it? Something to think about as you start forging your future.